Hello and welcome to another episode of the Born Too Late podcast. Where is it I or me? What would you think? Is it I, Jay Castro, or
Yeah, that's I.
Yeah. Me sounds weird. So where I, Jay Castro, and my friend Josh Rutledge here, where we talk to musicians, label owners, journalists, bloggers, DJs, anyone that we feel is making a fuss in underground music right now. Tonight, we have a guest, but okay, of course we have a guest. I just want to start out with a little story, okay? In the early 90s, okay, picture this. It's the early 90s. And I was fully on board with Lookout Records, with Fat Records, Epitaph, and all that kind of stuff. While that was all well and good, at the same time, I was also discovering bands like the Sex Pistols, Clash, The Boys, Eater, and all that kind of stuff. There's something about late 70s British punk that just ran shivers up my spine in a good way. And I couldn't help wonder, why aren't there any punk bands that sound like this anymore? Well, in 1995, the musical gods answered my tearful woes with the release of The Stitches 8x12, an album that I still regard as one of the best punk records ever made, regardless of the era. Then in 2011, this band called The Crazy Squeeze came along with a 7-inch called Give Me a Kiss, and it was in full glam, bover, bubblegum, pub rock glory that blew my mind all over again. In case you haven't guessed it, this is the Johnny Witmer episode. How does that sound? That sound okay?
Good.
Cool.
When every day's feeling like a Monday morning, staying out late, kinda gets boring. Do what you wanna when you wanna do something now. I'm getting older by day, younger at night. I need a little something to feel alright. Yeah, do what you wanna when you wanna do something now. Yeah, you do what you wanna when you wanna do something now. Chances are you've made some choices, but I don't hear no inner voice.
All right, Johnny. Well, I want to thank you for lending us your time this evening, man.
No problem. I have nothing else better to do on a Friday night in LA.
Well,
I just got back to LA.
Did you today?
No, a few days ago. I was in Ohio. My mom had hip surgery, so I was stuck in Ohio. I mean, I was stuck in Ohio, but it was good. I was stuck there for like 12 weeks. I thought it was like 2 months, but then I counted it was like 12 weeks. It was crazy.
That's a long time.
Yeah, thanks to Trogs double box. Was it Troganator?
That's a classic.
Yeah, yeah.
That got you.
They shouldn't sell it in 6-packs, especially when you buy 2 6-packs. So yeah, there you go.
No wonder you lost track of time.
Yeah, those things will kill you. But yeah, those were good. I found out about that. I see Josh's food posts, and like a lot, like he's a little bit farther away from where I grew up, but like a lot of times it overlaps, and then a lot of times I see him like in like northeastern Ohio, and I'm like, go here, and he's like, duh, I already had that planned out, like whatever. But I see his food posts and stuff, and like we have the Lebanon bologna. I had to get Lebanon bologna, and I had to get like some. He's always posting like Trog stuff, so I had to get some of that. I just right before I left though, they had Oktoberfest Bell's, and I'm like that's farther. He's farther away than me from Bell's Brewery, and I'm like, how do you get that quicker? Like I still didn't get it. So whatever. I mean, that's just one thing.
He's got his methods.
Yeah.
Secret.
He does. And he's got a lot of good stuff. It's like because like I say, it overlaps. So
Yeah.
we kind of enjoy the same stuff.
Stalking the stores to see when the fall beers have arrived.
Oh, that's the best thing in the world, Oktoberfest. I'll say I'm gonna quit drinking, then I'm like, oh shit, it's Oktoberfest. Okay, after Oktoberfest.
Best time of the year.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, I'm sure stuff falls off the truck around Josh. So.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So hey, man, I just want to not take up too much of your time, and so we can jump right into it if
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready to roar. So, Johnny, your origins in music. We wanted to know how did you come to love music and begin playing in bands?
Oh man, like I got to tell you, my parents had a great 45 collection. My aunt was like one of those Columbia Music 45 ladies. And they would send her triples of stuff. So we had growing up, I had a great collection of 45s. I mean, I had like, anywhere from Tom Jones, She's a Lady, to Incense and Peppermint, Strawberry Alarm Clock, had Easy Beat, St. Louis, Tubular Bells, probably somewhere in there. But we had a lot of good stuff. And then also my mom had some good stuff growing up. She had like Rockin' Robin, Bobby Day, which I was just back home and we were playing it. We were playing Bobby Day, Rockin' Robin, and she was dancing around like with her broken hip, her replacement hip, and she was doing good. And that really cheered me up. And it's like, and my dad bought a lot of stuff too. My dad he loved like weird stuff, like Beach Boys, I Get Around, like, I mean, stuff I just called like weird, like what else, The Streak, like,
oh right.
Yeah, stuff like that. So we always had music going around the house, and he loved anything that made weird noises. Like he bought like Led Zeppelin Black Dog 45 because it went shit like that. It's like so I've always just liked absurd stuff, Oh, and Sweet Little Willie was like a big, big hit around our house too. Like when I was growing up. So that was good. I had an older brother, and he was really into music. He's 5 years older than me. So I learned about like everything. Like, I mean, we were getting, stuff like Mott the Hoople and Aerosmith, Draw the Line. I liked them both because they were both like brown, and we got them both from the library and stuff, and we checked those out. And I had a cool older cousin that I reconnected with when I went back to Ohio. Me and him hung out a couple of times at clubs when I was back in Ohio, just in the last couple of months. And he would lend my dad like Black Sabbath, Paranoid. He would lend my dad like the Cars LP when it came out, and I think the Pretenders and some other stuff. And he had a tarantula that he used to let crawl on his arm, so I thought he was really cool. I grew up around music. It was like probably the most important thing in my life ever. It's like, it was good.
That's a solid foundation.
But then we got Kiss, and then Kiss was like the whole thing. Me and my brother like designed our own band that we never played, but we used to design our own covers and our own songs. And I had to play bass, so I had to be kind of like Gene Simmons. And he was always the singer, lead guitarist. So yeah. Older brother, definitely. We used to go to, I can't even tell you, we used to go to like garage sales. And at that time, I mean, I'm talking like 77, 78, and I was young at that time. I was born in 71, so I'm like 6, 7 years old riding bikes, and we're buying stuff like Alex Harvey Band, and we're buying Slade. We're buying like original nice copies of Vertigo, Black Sabbath LPs, and the ladies are just like, my son moved away, and I'm selling them for 25 cents, and like,
Sweet.
like you can't you know how much that shit goes for now, but like back then it was just like it was crazy, and that was me and my brother. We used to have BMX bikes. We used just to haul ass and just buy records, and then I learned so much about music, from like I'd say 76 through like 80, and then all of a sudden my brother said, like I think we got down to like ACDC, started buying ACDC and shit like that. And my brother said, I'm done with all this stuff. I'm into like, like psychedelic rock, and he started buying like 13th Floor Elevator. So I started learning about all that stuff,
Oh wow.
and stuff. And then my brother went totally insane on acid. And I lost him, and that was like one of my biggest losses in my life, losing him, because he was my idol, and so I think I graduated into like MTV, and I started liking, Adam and the Ants and Duran Duran, whatever was on MTV at the time, which he hated, but it's just, but that period of time, I mean, I learned pretty much every Beatles song, every 34 Elevator before I was like whatever, like 10 years old, which is a time you should learn, because it like just sticks with you forever,
Yeah.
And
dude,
so it's kind of crazy, but he did, and we were into punk as well, I can remember him buying the Dead Boys Young Lon and Snotty at the thrift store for like a quarter or whatever, and I can remember him buying the 8 tracks for the first time I heard New York Dolls. It's like he bought them. He's like, these guys turned on Kiss, and I'm like, all right, let's listen to them. And it was like 8 tracks, So I didn't really get to appreciate the Dolls until later on. Like I don't think the 8 tracks did anything for me. If they would have been on a record, maybe it would have changed me, like back then. But definitely Dictators did. I love Dictators. I think he got pissed. I traded Go Girl Crazy for like probably like Duran Duran Rio or something, or maybe the first Duran Duran. He probably got pissed at me. Yeah. I remember he broke my Adam and the Ants Prince Charming LP, and he's like, these guys are fags. And he broke it. But it's funny. I was going through my mom's records, like, and he had a copy of Prince Charming in there. So maybe he learned something from me.
Well, in your defense, man, it was hard to escape the MTV gravitational pull in the early 80s.
Yeah. I mean, my grandma, I didn't have cable growing up. It's like I grew up a poor. I was white, but I'll say I was a poor black child, because like most of my friends were black, and they were totally kick ass, man. Like, and they turned me on to like the early hip hop. Like
Nice.
So I got to appreciate that as well. But my grandma did have cable, and I went over there, and I think I saw the first day of MTV, and I was like, who are these guys? I was like, fuck, Adam the Ant, that's cool. I had a Prince Charming T-shirt, and I wore it. I think like, I went to Catholic school for a few years, but then like when I went to public school, I wore the Prince Charming shirt, and like they were like, "The fuck's that?" So my favorite shirt though was like I was totally into Kiss. My dad bought me this fucking Tube shirt, and it was like the Quaalude. It was like Fee Waybill Quaalude. It said OD with the big glasses, because he thought like, oh, this is like Kiss. So I had that, and that was crazy. And then the other time, they bought me a Black Sabbath 666 shirt, and I wore it to church, because like whatever. We didn't. I went to Catholic church when I was a kid, and I didn't know what 666 was, but I was like, Black Sabbath. I like fucking Paranoid. I like like Volume 4. Like whatever. And I got to wear that to church. It was great. They kind of looked at me strange, I think.
I'm
And my
sure.
dad didn't even question it. It's like, like, hey, I want that Black Sabbath shirt. It says 666. Like whatever. So that was kind of cool. So I had a crazy childhood. Okay, we jumped BMX bikes, all over the place. Nunchucks.
Yep.
What else? Roller skating. Just go to roller skating. Just like a weird childhood, but like rock and roll was always definitely a part of it, man. And it's like I love that.
So do you remember your
Yeah,
your
go ahead.
first band?
My first band ever? I don't know. Like the first band that I played in, or the first band that I liked.
Yeah.
First
Yeah, you
band. My first band was I had a band with Mike Hodgkiss. Mike Hodgkiss played in the what were they called? With Rick Sims, the Gaza Strippers, and he also later on went to be in Urge Overkill, and I just saw him. We were just hanging out. We went to see the Dwarves a couple of months ago in Ohio, and we saw it was weird because we were at this club in downtown Kent. We're like, oh, we played over there. That was one of our first shows over there at the YMCA. So we had a band, and it was good because it was weird. He was into like really like kind of grunge stuff that I didn't really know. Like he was into Mudhoney, but he loved the Stooges, which I loved as well. And I was more into punk and stuff. But I remember Mudhoney did a cover of Angry Samoan, so I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we covered that one. And we have some recording of that someplace, and I will threaten him that I'm going to find it and release it. But he's doing good now. He's after many tours and stuff with Gaza Strippers and Urge Overkill, he's residing in Columbus, Ohio, and in a good space.
Cool. So, how did you get to move? Not get to move, but how did you end up in California?
Well, I've always been friends with a lot of people in California. I've been friends with Mike Lorman, singer for the Stitches, for a long time. I met him in 1989 after I graduated from high school. Him and Ricky Barnes, who you might know from the Pushers and Naughty Monkey, and Rudy from Jackpot and American Punk Records. They all came to Ohio. They were on tour, and I met them in 1989. Me and my friends actually wanted to go on a cross-country skateboard tour. Oh, skateboarding is the key probably to everything here.
Yeah.
That's probably like all my connections in the early days, at least. And then we went cross country. Met tons of cool people like Rick Windsor in Sacramento. Met tons of people in San Luis Obispo. Then we got to SoCal, and Mike's like, "Yeah, come over to my house." And I went over to his house, and like I knocked at the door. His dad's like, "Yeah, he's upstairs. Just go upstairs." And I'm going upstairs, and it's like Spicoli zone, man. It's like a fucking white shag carpet. He's got all this weed busted out, and his dad's like in there. And I'm like, "How do you have all that weed busted out from your dad?" His dad didn't even fucking care. And I'm like, "Wow, this is California." He's like, "Fuck off, Dad." Like at the time. So hung out with Mike then, and then I went back home. Me and Mike were in constant contact with trading records and talking on the phone about what's going on and stuff. And then I can remember, coming out here a few times to go see like bands like actually Mike made me tapes. That was my goal, because like my friend Lurch came back from California in like 87 or 88, and he had all these tapes with all these weird bands. It was like Who's that? That's the Crowd. Who's that? That's the Gears. Who's that? That's the Chiefs. I was like, fuck, I've never heard of any of these bands, So my main goal, I went out there. I'm like, Mike, make me some tapes. He made me a few tapes, in which Mike's like my second older brother. I will say that because, Mike turned me on to so many good things, over the years. He's still got a good ear. Every once in a while, we'll get together. We'll be in the same car or same van, and I'll be like, check this out. And I'll be like, wow, where'd you hear about that? Oh, on Spotify. I don't do Spotify at all, but like Mike's still got a good ear, and he can he knows what's good. So I trust him on a lot of stuff. So anyway, I moved out here. I had a girlfriend at the time. She just passed away from COVID, like back in November, which is the weirdest thing ever. She left me because she thought I was going to die way before she did, but actually, she passed away before me. Go figure. So I moved out here with her. One day I was down on Melrose at a record store, and Mike was there. He's like, Johnny, what's up? And I think he was with Mike from the Spent Idols at the time. And so we got back. We came back to my house, and he's like, oh, man, you play guitar? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you want to play in my band? I'm like, yeah. So I ended up in the Stitches. But before that, I wanted to move out here because I thought I wanted to be in the Exploding Fuck Dolls. And I go, one of those guys is going to quit. It was like the Godoy brothers and Dwayne. I'm glad I never joined them, definitely. And Dwayne's asked me so many times, every time, like, you're going to play with me. You're like my Mick Jones. I'm like just drummer. And I'm like, no, dude. So I'm just glad I never did that. But anyway, that was my original goal. I'm going to move out there and play with Exploding Fuck Dolls because I had the 7-inch and I thought it was great. But then the Stitches were opening up and before I was in the band, and I saw them and I go, these guys are way better, So I joined probably they started in June or so, June of '93, and I started in maybe September, October, around that time.
Oh wow, not.
So I got in. Some of the stuff was already written, definitely, and so it was easy for me, just go in there and play, had a good time, and I've been here for almost 30 years now. So hey, there you go.
That's amazing. I just think about from mid to late 90s. It's like the Stitches were the band in American punk rock, and especially when you would have a new record out and the new issue of MRR came out, it would be in everybody's top 10 list.
Oh, dude, it was always it was like a holiday. I don't know if you believe me or if you know this, but every fucking time you guys released a new single, it was like a freaking holiday.
Well, we didn't do that many. We only had a few. So, yeah.
When I
guess it was a holiday when we released something. But yeah, we were on fire back then, and but at the same time, a lot of internal stuff going on. Me and Pete were on speed, and the rest, and Mike was on heroin, and then it just it kind of broke up for a while, like anything, but it was good. We kind of had this little control over what we were doing, and the scene at the time, so it's cool, and I guess we still do, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's I've been very lucky, it's when I joined the Stitches, man, I gotta tell you, I would go and whatever, I was new in town, whatever, but I had cool clothes, cool whatever, just walk in, all of a sudden I had 200 of Mike's friends are my new friends, and I'm like, fuck, I was just anxiety 5,000, man. It was You know, like there's way too many people. I grew up and like my friends are my close friends, you know, and it's like kind of still that way, you know, but it's just like, you know, it's like all of a sudden I met all these people. I'm like, I don't know, you know, like anxiety. How could I meet all these people? Like whatever, you know, and then, you know, and then being on speed on top of that. I don't know if that fixed it or if that was maybe that enhanced it. I don't know. I don't know, but it was like a line of speed and like two. I don't know if you guys remember. It was there were Mickey's iced ales. We used to get like the 22-ounce iced ales. It was like you could have like two of those. You know, I mean, it definitely went up after that, but at that time it was like that was the perfect amount. You got like the one or two 99-cent iced ales. Did a line and like fucking let's go, like we're ready. But it was a good time, man. Hey, you know, it's like, and like I say, like we used to outdraw like pretty much everyone, and it's like one day I was like, are we getting paid for this? And Mike's like, fuck, get paid for what? And I'm like, all right, let me talk to the promoter, and I'm like, damn, you know, it's like Vandals aren't drawing that many people. We're drawing like fucking, you know, over half the crowd. Dickies aren't drawing that, you know, and then people started getting pissed, you know, like, you know, promoters like couldn't just like hire us anymore, you know, for
Really?
well, just for because they'd want to hire us for nothing, you know, like, you know, I got $1,000 guarantee for the Dickies, you know, and you guys are drawing, you know, half that. I don't want to pay you guys like 500 or whatever, so whatever. But it worked out for the best for us, you know. You know, we started getting paid finally, you know, and stuff. But yeah, that was great. Those first couple of years, it was crazy. It was just like, you know, hey, show up. Hey, let's do this. Hey, practice. Hey, you know, and it's like there was no thought in any of it, you know, pretty much, you know. Later on, I mean, I guess there was some thought, but you know, that's the best time. That's why you get all the best stuff out of, you know, younger bands, you know. It's just like, you know, just go do it. Let's go. But yeah, that was the early Stitches, and then we broke up for a while. And we got back together many times, you know, and then we kept going, and you know, like we are where we are at right now. But it's just right now it's just like, you know, just playing some shows and stuff, you know. I don't know about recording any new stuff. I don't know if there's anything that needs to be written about your kids' softball leagues, or or your kids' schools, or being a parent, which a lot of our members have kids now. I don't, but like, you know, I don't know what can be written right now.
So we probably aren't getting another Stitches record.
Oh, you never know. You never know. You never know. Mike's kids are going off to college, or Mike's one daughter's going off to college. Pete's still got kids. I don't know. Maybe I'll write the lyrics. You don't want me to write the lyrics. You hear those in Crazy Squeeze. They're no good. So yeah, like so who knows? Who knows?
So you talked a little bit about Stitches singles. Do you have your favorite?
Oh, I don't know. Like I love them all. My favorite. I love Living at 110. You know, I like that a lot. That was one thing I brought in early on to the Stitches, probably like before 8x12 was released. But I love them all. I love 16. I think that's a really good 7-inch. And like I was stoked because I remember the Nomads came, and I gave the guitar player the 7-inch, Hans, the 7-inch, and Nick Volberg came, and he was like, "Oh my God, I work in a record store. We play that all the time. I love that 7-inch. That's so good." And like this is like whenever like 90, whenever it came out, 95, whatever it was, and I was so stoked on that. You know, my idols. You know, I love the Nomads, that they would think that that's a good 7-inch. You know.
Nice.
So I mean, I like them all. I mean, I like the first. I like every 7-inch. You know, and we were the weird thing is, we were just supposed to have an official American 7-inch record come out on Burger Records, and like, you know, and it was supposed to come out, and they were trying to rush it right before everything went down with them, and they're like, "Oh, we have to change something," and I'm like, "What happened? What happened?" You know, I'm like, "What? What do we have to change?" And you know, I didn't understand. Then all of a sudden, I got the memo that said they had been canceled, and I was like, I was so excited because I wanted to call the record "Saved by Hipsters" again. You know, because originally, Sonny over at what did what's the label that the LaShock split came out on?
GSL.
GSL, yeah. They were the original Hipsters, and they came and they revived our career at that time. They brought us back to life. We got tons of like press from that and stuff. So Burger Records was going to do our singles collection. I wanted to call the LP. No one else did. Saved by Hipsters again, or again, you know, like whatever.
So this was going to be an LP.
It was going to be a double LP. You know, but yeah, like, I mean, seriously, it was like the last thing that Burger Records had on their plate right before they had to close down. And I mean, seriously, I was working like a day or two before they closed down with them to try to get everything still released and stuff. And then, you know, that went down. And I was like, that's going to be great. We can play some festivals, you know, we can get a good booking. We can get we have a good booking agent, but we can get good bookings with our agent, you know, like, and stuff. And I thought it was going to be, you know, a little highlight for us, but unfortunately that was not to be, you know?
So Johnny, let me just try to understand this. So you're telling me or us that the Stitches have a double LP of new material that was
no. It was our singles collection.
Okay.
No. Nothing new. Don't get excited.
Okay. Oh God.
That would have been a scoop.
No. It was just our singles collection. We did one with
Wanda, right?
With Wanda, yeah, like for our 2013 tour, and we did a limited amount of those. But we were supposed to do a deluxe version that had A's, B's, everything, you know. Nice. And I think it had, as well as comp tracks, so it was supposed to be double. And Andrew from LaShock did all the artwork for it. He was kind of bummed out that it didn't happen. The Sean from Burger, is it Sean?
Yeah.
There's who are the two? Sean and whatever.
Can't remember the other dude.
Yeah. But the one guy's still doing a label. He said he still wants to do it, and we're just like, you know, like I don't know, like we just kind of put it off like we always do, and maybe it will come out like, you know, sometime in the future. Who knows? Who knows? It's out there. It's ready to go. If somebody wants to do it, get a hold of me. You know, get a hold of Born Too Late. Tell them. You know.
We'll start a campaign.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much ready to go. I think it's been mastered. We might want to master it again, and but it's pretty. It's sequencing has already been selected and everything. I think we have the artwork ready to go too, you know. So whatever. I mean, you know, there you go. Bad luck again. You know, you know, for the Stitches. So, but who knows? Might be good luck in the future.
So are all those years in between 8x12 and 12 imaginary inches? In that time, was there ever talk of doing an LP that just never materialized?
Not really. I mean, we were broken up for a while. We went through a couple different drummers. We did some tours. We did some 7 inches. You know, the funny thing is we used to practice like every week. Still, just never really thought about recording an LP. And then by the time we did, it was we were kind of like pretty fucked up at that time when we did 12 Imaginary Inches. If if you listen to it, you'll see. But it was good. We got to work with Earl Mankey. Originally, um, uh, Pete D from the Addicts recorded like our first kind of demo, at least the demo that I was on, in San Diego, and we never finished it. And we always kept in touch with him. And he said he wanted to produce our LP. And he said, Johnny, I got big ideas for you guys, man. You know, you guys gonna do all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, like whatever, you know, like. And then he kind of got weird. We took him on, like he recorded us, produced us, did some cool shit, you know. Like I love Pete. Pete's a great guy. But then we went on tour, and he was like, you know, at the end of the tour, there was like nothing left. There was like whatever. We were all getting like $50, and I gave him like $50. He's like, that's all I get. You know, I did sound. I'm like, dude, like fucking, you know, we don't make money on tour. You know, it's like, and he kind of got weird on me. You know, so you know, we kind of split. We didn't put his name on the LP. He did some of the stuff. We went in and remixed it on our own. I mean, we still have the PD mixes that are cool as well. But he wanted to get really weird and, you know, like kind of, you know, made us do. I mean, he didn't make us do, but like he kind of like whatever we were thinking, like let's put, like we were in the same studio that fucking 2020 was in, so we're asking like fucking Earl Mankey, give us like the 2020 like you know, like keyboard thing is, let's make weird like you know, like sounds and stuff, you know. But you know, it kind of came out different, you know. But like, you know, like everyone's like, well, yeah, what's going on with all that stuff? And that was definitely too many drugs, you know, like and being allowed to do whatever you wanted to do, you know. Like PD really didn't tell us we couldn't do anything, and he liked the weird stuff, so that's how that happened.
It came out all right, man.
You like it? As long as you like it. I don't know. I'm like this. You throw it out there, it's like, you know, you walk down the street, somebody sees you, and that's their impression of you. That's great, you know. That's nothing to do with you, you know. It's like you know, same with like throwing out you know, songs, music, whatever, you know. Somebody hears it, whatever they like, you know. I mean, how many times have you guys listened to like songs and you're like, wow, this is like the best song because of this time in my life, and the people that wrote it never knew about that, you know. They'll never be privy to that information, you know, like, but it's good for you, you know. So yeah, it's like throw it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Next question. I do like. Here's the thing. I didn't see that Pistols whatever it was on Hulu. Yeah, I didn't see that. Like, and I just saw it when I got back home this week, and I watched it, and I don't care what the fuck Frankie Dalmain says. I liked it. I like it. He's got problems if he doesn't like it. Problems.
Well, you know what's interesting is that there's been so Jonesy's Jukebox is now a podcast, and so he's taking some of those archival interviews, he's putting them in podcast form, and he's doing new interviews. So he did like interviews with like the cast and with Danny Boyle, and those have been like an interesting listen.
Nice. Yeah, Jonesy's always been good, man. I got to tell you, like, I mean, I do my own radio show, and I got to tell you, he's a big influence on me for sure. You know, play what you like, and that's one thing I always got out of it. You know, he's like, you know, play the stuff that makes you that makes you go, and fuck it, does, you know, you don't have to, you know, try to pretend you're somebody else for anybody. You know, it's like, you know, just do it. So Definitely, he's an influence on me. I haven't listened to any of the new ones or anything, but I probably will sometime. But I always, like for him, I always liked the music because he always played cool shit, and I always got turned on to cool shit. He'd always play like shit that I didn't know. Like and then I have to research and go, what the fuck was that? So that's what I'm all about. And that's what I try to do with my radio show too. It's like I just want to play. Hopefully, turn people on to shit. It's like good songs and stuff.
Yeah. In case anybody's wondering it, yeah, it's Super Grease Radio. And what's the station that it's on?
It's on luxuriamusic.com. So yeah, it's it's a pretty nice studio, pretty nice station. Howie Pyro was on there before he passed away. Rest in peace. There's some other people. Lee Joseph's on there. I think Miriam Lena might have a show on there, but there's a lot of other people. Michael from the 3 o'clock has a show on there and stuff. So kind of cool to be on with all those people.
Yeah,
it's a nice place. I just have an hour show just pick out records and spin them. So it's good outlet for me. Like the pandemic's been weird. I haven't really been. Everyone's like, and I talked to Francois from Motorcycle Boy about this too. He's like, everyone always asks me, like, you must be writing tons of songs right now. And I'm like, no, I haven't even picked up my bass. And I'm like, the same with me through the pandemic. I'm like, it's kind of cool just to take a break. I know Frankie's out there writing 365 songs in 365 days. And I applaud him on that. It's great. 4 or 5 of those might end up on a Crazy Squeeze record in the future.
Nice
and stuff. And he's got his own thing going on. I'm glad right now he's got his own thing going on with his own solo project, and he's got a great band that I hooked up for him. Backing him up. So it's going to be good. I can't wait to see that. I think they're playing their first show and next month or the month after. So I'm excited to see that and stuff.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit about Crazy Squeeze. How did that band come about?
Oh, Crazy Squeeze came about. It was like pretty much ex-members of the Stitches. So it was Johnny Sleeper that played on 8x12 and the early 7 inches. And it was me. And then we ended up getting Logan, who was a guitar player that I took the place of Logan. Logan played. You might hear him, even though I'm credited, you might hear him on the live version of I Just Want to Fuck on our very first release with UXA and Corrupted Ideals.
Yeah,
that's him. That's him. I would never play that mess that he played. So that's him. Even though I got blamed for it. But Logan was so it was me, Logan, Johnny Sleeper. So it was 3 original Stitches, and we just Stitches weren't really playing much, weren't really writing much. I had some songs, and we did. Me and Sleeper were doing a band with Jimmy Greco, who's a professional skateboarder. We had this band called the Tenors. It was him and Francois from Motorcycle Boy. Me and Jimmy Greco on guitar, vocals, and then Sleeper on drums. We recorded like 2 songs that should come out sometime, hopefully. And then,
cool.
Me and Sleeper just continued on. Got Logan in there. Logan was kind of kicking heroin at the time, and it was kind of hard for him. And then this chick that was leaving her husband wanted to be the bass player. And then, unfortunately, I started dating her at the time. So we recorded a demo that should come out as well. And then all this shit went down. I broke up with the chick. She left. We got rid of Logan. And we were like, who are we going to get? And we got Frankie because I've always been a fan of Frankie. You know, I've been a fan of the Teenage Frames,
Yeah.
even though like Frankie moved to Hollywood, like like over probably 15, 17, 18, maybe 20 years ago. And I think he's played with the Teenage Frames like about 5 times or 6 times in that whole time. And I was like, we got to get him out of the Teenage Frames and start playing. So we got Frankie, and then we got Chris B from Richmond Sluts, who came in and provided the most amazing bass on a record. I love that. I love the first LP. I love all his bass work on that. But unfortunately, he couldn't do it live. And he got mad at us for some reason and left us. And we got Dat No from the Super Bees. So we had 2 Super Bees and 2 Stitches, and then 1 Teenage Frame. So it was good, and that was our band for a while. And then Sleeper wanted to leave. He didn't feel like it was. Sleeper's always one of those guys. It's like I'm better than this,
Oh yeah.
and he'll use that. He'll use that. I'm better. What are we doing? And I'm like, we're doing whatever you want to do. It's not my. It's not. This isn't me. It's like this is us. I'm not leading the band. I'm just like, hey, whatever you guys want to do. So he wanted to leave, and he left and he joined some Jesus and Mary Chain sounding band that like he doesn't have to play that much, which is the worst thing ever because he's the most dynamic, action-packed drummer around, and he wanted to do like just like these little act like he wasn't really doing anything. Which if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to do, go do it. Anyway, so we got Ian that was in the Starvations, and he toured with us and played in the last LP. And now we have Sean from the Gaggers. That I was trying to listen to right before you guys called. I was trying to listen to that Marco interview, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, like Sean, I met Sean in England when Gaggers opened up for the Stitches in 2013, and then we just remained friends. And he married a friend of mine, moved over here, and Sean's awesome. He's great. He's a great guy. So he plays with us. He plays with Tenement Rats and a couple other bands as well. So Crazy Squeeze. So it's been great. Pretty much, I try to give as much flexibility to everyone. I want, like when Johnny Sleeper's in the band, I wanted him to sing as much as possible, even though he didn't really want to write much or whatever. I give him songs. Hey, yeah, you're singing this. Frankie always writes his own songs, of course. He's got tons. He sends me like 20 songs, and I'll be like, oh, these 5 are great. We want to do these. And we do them. So I help him rewrite them, kind of maybe put a bridge in, do a little bit with those. I'm the worst. I'm the laziest guy. I'm the laziest guy ever. I have songs, kind of, but like I wait till the last minute to, as you could probably tell, before I do them. So whatever. But for my vision of the Crazy Squeeze was definitely back then to do like a proto punk before any of this stuff was really getting thought of or whatever. I mean we kind of predate Judah or whatever, but like, hey, whatever, those guys do their own version, so it's cool. Like we just didn't come out with our stuff till a little bit later and stuff. But I envisioned us like being like fucking, like 73 dudes, 1973 with like, mullets and comeback hair, and like teddy boy coats and, like whatever, that's what I kind of envisioned, just us doing that. And I call it pub rock, not really, because it's not really pub rock at all, but it's just we play pubs, so So I call it that. I mean, definitely we're influenced by the Gorillas or whatever, but then Frankie is totally just a power pop guy, and loves everything like Wipers or whatever, brings it in there. I'll bring whatever, shit. I'll bring like GBH whatever in there. I don't care, just but yeah, just wanted to do something a little bit different that wasn't being done, and
Yeah.
since then there's a lot of stuff that's being done, and that's great, and that's good, a lot of it's way better than us, so it's good, but I still enjoy it, and hopefully you'll have a new Crazy Squeeze record sometime, maybe in 2023. I don't know. We'll see.
That would be great. Yeah.
Excellent.
We'll see. We'll see. Got a lot of stuff to write about. Yeah. So yeah, everything's good. Crazy Squeeze. Hopefully, we're supposed to do. We were supposed to do a little tour of the Northwest with the Stitches back in over St. Patrick's Day, but my drummer got a really bad cold. It wasn't COVID, but still, no one wants to get in a van with somebody these days, that has a cold and a fever, so we had to cancel that. And hopefully both Stitches and Crazy Squeeze will be touring sometime in the near future. Love to do Europe. Love to do the US,
That would be great, because you guys, Crazy Squeeze, haven't toured a lot, right?
We've toured
At least
Europe,
not in the States.
We've toured Europe twice. We did one. We've done two kind of tours like of the Midwest. One of like the East Coast and Canada. So we haven't toured extensively. I mean, usually everyone works. So it's tough, with that. And, as anybody can tell you, no one makes money, touring right now. I mean, maybe a little bit more now than before if places are open, because people haven't seen live music. But I mean, it's still weird here, it's people still don't want to go out. And it's like, I just think people got used to being at home. And I'm not one of those people that want to do like, there's all these bands that are like, check me out, we're doing this live, video cast from this rehearsal studio. And I'm like, to me, no thanks. It's like, I'm just not into that. It's like, I love the person to person, interaction.
Oh yeah, dude. There's an energy. There's an energy to live music.
Yeah, and as much as I don't want to do stuff, I'm like, fuck, I gotta. I got some shows right now in September. I'm like, oh, I gotta practice. I'm like, oh, fuck, and then like once I do it, I'm like the happiest man in the world. It's probably like my radio. It's probably like your radio show. You're like, fuck, I gotta interview Johnny Witmer tonight. You're like, fuck, I don't want to do that. And then once you do it, you're gonna be like, oh, that was fun. And you're gonna feel renewed. Tomorrow you're gonna want to go to a movie with your wife or girlfriend or whatever. It's like,
that's funny.
Yeah, I was telling my gal that, she's like, let's go to a movie. I'm like, I fucking hate movies. And I play a show or do my radio show. I'm like, let's go see a movie. She's like, I hate movies. I'm like,
being
I feel a
reinvigorated.
whole lot better now. I got it out. So yeah, it's definitely therapy, man. It's like,
yeah,
and that's it's like, I definitely don't do it for the money, I guess, but it's definitely therapy. And just talking to people knowing who you are, it's always good, and it makes me smile.
All right, man. Well, one more question I wanted to ask before we go.
Fire away.
So I have met you before in person. You probably don't remember, but when the Stitches came to Phoenix, when you opened up for Green Day.
Oh yeah, okay.
And me and Jim Buds from Underground Medicine.
I love Jim. Jim's a great guy.
Came and
he put out the first Crazy Squeeze 7 inches.
Right.
With Marco.
What's that? Oh yeah, yeah.
with
No,
Marco,
Pete.
yeah, co-release, yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, we came and we saw you guys. And so I wanted to ask you, how the hell did that happen? Like, how did you guys end up playing with Green Day?
It was the weirdest thing. It was all one weekend. Our friend, our good friend Fuzzy is he works in the fashion industry, and he works for a couple different companies, and does like surfwear and whatever. I guess he was surfing one day with Billy Joe, and he was like, "Hey, we need somebody to open up for us. We're doing a couple of unannounced shows, or a couple secret shows." It was right after Billy Joe got busted for being on OxyContin or whatever he was on, and he told people to fuck off at that one iHeartRadio or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So so it was like he went to rehab, and then he got out of that, and then he's like, we want to do a couple warm up gigs, and my friend Fuzzy called us, was like, hey, you want to do it? And we're like, yeah, we'll do it. And they offered us like 3 shows. It was like Pomona, California, it was Arizona, and it was Austin City Limits. And I'm like, yeah, let's do all 3. And then for some reason, one of the other members couldn't do the Austin City Limits, so I think we turned them onto the Fleshlights. You guys ever hear the Fleshlights? They're from Austin, so we
I don't think so.
we hooked them up with this band called the Fleshlights. But we played 2 shows, and it was good. It was weird. It was definitely weird. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was the biggest stages we've ever played on, or it was just different, But Green Day were very, very cool. I mean, nice guys.
That's good.
It was just weird. We couldn't drink beer because everything had to be like kind of sober for Billy Joe, and that was weird. That was weird for us. So we had to be outside, like in the lobby, like drinking beer before. We couldn't bring anything on stage, or anything, and that was kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, they were nice guys, and it was great because the kids were totally cheering. They were great, and I'm like, how do you kids feel? Yay! Well, who do you guys want? What song you guys want to hear? Green Day. So they just wanted us to get off the stage. They didn't care. And like I think Adam Turkle was the funniest, because like he took a picture of we took a picture of the crowd and posted it after that Arizona show, and he's like, "Here, kids, here's a song about hookers and heroin. What do you think about this?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, there you go." But yeah, it was a fun time, man. Like, they were nice. They paid us extremely well. Would I do it again? Yeah, sure. I have no problem with it. A lot of people got pissed that we did that. Yeah, I mean, Pete could tell you more, because Pete knew him, I think, before, like when they used to play like in Compton, before they got big with like Dookie or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Pete used to go see him, and he was in Corrupt Out of Deals, so I think they crossed paths a couple times or something. So he could probably tell you more about him, and he's always liked him. But I never, whatever I heard on the radio was okay, but and I've never been like a big fan. But
they're not on heavy rotation on Super Grease Radio.
They're definitely cool. I mean, it's not my cup of tea. It's like, I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to break the news to you guys. I have a hard time, finding stuff anymore. I mean, I know you guys do. I know Josh always does, and he's always finding new stuff, and I take a listen, and some of it's really good, but I mean, I really did like the last Faz Waltz, LP, like they were kind of doing rockabilly, and I thought that was, more refreshing than what they're doing before, like kind of like the Judas stuff or whatever. I try to like Chubby and the Gang. I heard them and it was okay, but I have to go back and listen to them because I don't really remember what they sound like. Amo the Sniffers, I saw them live. I see them all the time in my neighborhood. Like every time they're in LA, they're always like walk around my neighborhood, and I always go back to fucking Australia, you muppets. Like out the window. I don't think that because they're awesome. They're awesome at whatever they do. They're not my cup of tea, but like I saw them live. And people like them. So hey, people like them. That's a good thing. But I just I like giving people shit even though they probably don't deserve it.
Oh man. All right, man. Well, so can you tell people where people can listen to Crazy Squeeze? People can get Stitches records, get a hold.
Oh, that's a tough one. You can right now. I was going to tell people to go to Bandcamp, but I just read some big posts by Charles Matthews. I don't know what's going on with that guy. That guy's always got something going on with like you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm joking, Charles. But he just said that they're going to start taxing Bandcamp. I don't know. Is that true? I don't know. What's going to happen
if you make over a certain amount?
Is that $600 a year?
I don't know if we ever do that. So definitely with the Stitches we probably do, but we don't sell personal product on there. So at this time, I would say you could go to Bandcamp, the Stitches. You could go to Bandcamp, the Crazy Squeeze. Right now, we don't sell personal product on there. I guess we had to do the same thing with Big Cartel, but Big Cartel you can go and buy stuff from the Stitches on Big Cartel. It's like Big Cartel the Stitches, and I think we have whatever vinyl we have left, and we got to get some. We got to re-up on all that stuff. I'm sitting on like fucking 900 shirts that we got pressed up for those shows we had a couple months ago. So yeah, we're gonna put those shirts up on the Stitches, Big Cartel, or maybe Bandcamp. So
cool.
So check us out. We got some shirts.
I need a new Stitches shirt.
You do? All right. Well, you can grab one there, and if you need one in advance before we get it up there, PM me. I'll get you. I'll put you in the right hands.
Awesome.
But yeah, you can do that for now. Check us out. Nothing new for right now for either band, but we're definitely we definitely have the wheels in motion for the singles collection for the Stitches, and we have a rarities that I've been working on for the Crazy Squeeze called Tossed Salad.
Nice.
No one understands like my humor with the Crazy Squeeze. It's all fun, It's like kind of like hey, whatever. So it's all humor, You got to smile. You got to smile when you listen to it.
Of course, man. It's a secret in life.
Yeah, no one understands that. We all like every musician wants to be a comedian, and I think most podcasters do as well. Correct? If not, they should. So.
Yeah, secretly. Well, hey, man. Thank you so much for lending us your time. If you don't mind sticking around for just a little bit, I want to ask you a couple things.
No problem.
We hit the end broadcast here, but
no problem here.
All right, man. Well,
I'll hang out. Do what you want to do.
Okay, cool. Thank you again, man, for stopping by, and we want to thank also our listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and if you have the means, please leave us a review or a rating, because not only does it help our show, it helps spread the word on all the people that we have on our show, all their projects and all their stuff. We would greatly appreciate it. And with that, this is the Born Too Late podcast signing off.